All right, folks, welcome to Gamcast for, I guess it's Wednesday evening. Trump was proven right. He said this during the campaign, and today we got bombshell news that he is absolutely correct. Take a listen to the President of the United States during the campaign.
It's always been very clear that the documents case, it's a hoax, is nothing but an election interference scam concocted by crooked Joe Biden and deranged Jack Smith and their hacks.
So he said that, and again, those of us that follow this stuff and are trained in the laws and know the history, we knew it was a hoax from the beginning, which I'll explain. I'll give you the bombshell at the very end, not the stuff that was released today, but an article which proves everybody knew, even the media knew it was a hoax. But we wrote about this in January of 2023, the truth about the Biden and Trump scandals. The fact that Biden had some documents should have really put the end to it, but it showed that they really didn't care about the rule of law. And the main thing you have to understand is the power of the executive branch is vested in the president, period, end of story. All of these quote-unquote laws they have regulating documents cannot regulate the president. Those are for his benefit and his alone, not to regulate him. Again, we're seeing this now with judges trying to tell the executive branch how to do it. Quite basically, right, every document created or of the executive branch belongs to Trump. When he leaves, he can take every daggone one of them if he wants to. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But basically, I'll put a link to that article if you're reading it on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, not Twitter, but Rumble, the others. You can click on the link and take a look at the article if you want. I also, at the time of the Mar-a-Lago raid, August of 2022, did a video. I'll put a link to that in there, explaining to you how ridiculously, absurdly broad the warrant was. It was clear that the warrant was just completely unconstitutional, completely illegal, never should have been signed, nobody cared. And then out of course, you got these idiotic pictures. That was staged by the FBI. That's not even how Trump had them. It was all a hoax. How do we know that? Well, today, the bombshell, somebody made a Freedom of Information request to the National Archives, and the National Archives were kind enough to give us this. As you can see, there's the request. They're saying, here's a response to the request. Now that Trump is there, they're now being a little bit more responsive. Here we go. Correct. This is in September of 2021. The case would not be filed until about a little over a year later. Correct. We cannot go to DOJ while we're engaged in ongoing discussions with the White House and the Trump reps. Okay, so they're saying, hey, we're trying to work this out. And then at the bottom, you'll see Deputy White House Counsel Jonathan. They had a call last week to get him up to speed, and they're afraid that now they're getting close to getting this negotiated. It says right here, in dispute. This week, Jonathan told me that we are open to having blank, it's edited out, participate in meeting with blank and possibly principal source. Accordingly, they need to access blank notes from the last administration. So we now hold, so they will be making a special access request. So basically, they're going to go silent now so that in a year and a half or so, we can prosecute Trump, and they'll have the special access request, and there won't be any more direct communication. Folks, you didn't need to know any of this stuff to know it was a hoax. And let me prove it for you. Really, that nobody else is talking about this on Twitter or anywhere else, but I am. Okay? This is an article from the Washington Post. The Washington Post, okay? Not a Trump-friendly organization. They wrote an article which any lawyer like I am could have told you, or anybody who frankly went to history class could have told you, right? Before the Presidential Records Act of 1978, presidents owned their papers. Now all presidents, including Donald Trump, must turn them over to the archives. Again, the Presidential Records Act is unconstitutional. Congress can't pass a law telling the chief executive how to handle documents or not. Now, I think the law is a good compromise. I don't have a problem with the Presidential Records Act as passed. Now, bunch of reasons why. Basically, the Presidential Records Act just says, hey, we get to get a copy of all your records, right? You got to give us a copy before you leave. Right? But the reason it was passed, the reason Jimmy Carter signed it, is Democrats always play the long game. They knew at one point we could try to make this argument that, right, you commit a law if you break this. Here's the point. They didn't use the Presidential Act. You know why? Because it doesn't have any criminal provisions. Instead, they tried to use other laws which don't apply. And Washington Post admits it here. It doesn't, because before this act, presidents took whatever they wanted, because that's what the Constitution says. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this material, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you do, you'll see me on the next one.